Hello there, lovers. It's been a while since I did a YouTube video, and I'm sad that I'm doing it without makeup on, which I know I'm going to regret tomorrow, but it's fine because I had to just come on camera and talk about the Christmas tea that I was served like everybody else a few minutes ago. Which, by the way, if you're a Starbucks fan, I found out that their Joy tea, which is their Christmas tea, is really just Earl Grey and green tea mixed together. So go ahead and make your own festive tea right now. So speaking of festivities, Kylie Jenner, is that the right name for them? Yeah, Kylie Jenner had a baby. She had a baby with Travis Scott. Now, if you're like me, where you're like on the Kinsey scale of interest of the Kardashians, you're probably like a 2. You're not fully bisexual. You're not gonna have a relationship. But at the same time, you know what? I'm like a 1, to be honest with you. I'm not a 0, I'm not an X. I'm like a 1. If it comes my way, I don't watch their shows. Sometimes I go to their pages, maybe I'm a 2, I don't really know. Then today happens and you find out, oh, everyone's not crazy and just like nutty for Cocoa Puffs. They were onto something. She actually was pregnant this entire time and she had a baby February 1st. I can't remember the date. I told y'all I'm not that into it. I read her response to why she decided to keep it private and I thought, and in such a really refreshing and relatable way. So in essence, she was saying that she wanted to take this time to prepare for her new role as a mother. It's a brand new role for her. I believe that she's in her very early 20s, if not 20 itself. And so it is something to have a massive transition from a life of me. And so much of what she said really made sense from an evolutionary perspective and just from the basic instincts of what pregnancy used to mean or what it does mean still in the animal kingdom. So if you have a pet, for example, and you have a cat, and all of a sudden your cat starts to withdraw to the corner a lot, doesn't want to be in the spotlight, is always skulking underneath the bed. Two things may be happening. One, your cat may be falling ill because in the animal kingdom, if you fall ill, you start to like lag back from their pack. But in addition to that, it could mean that you are pregnant. Some foxes, for example, burrow themselves into a den and they don't come out for the entire duration of their pregnancy. And the next time you see that fox that you saw frolicking around and like hanging with that one fox that you weren't too sure about, and then she disappeared for months, and she comes back and she's got 12 little pups around her. Because naturally we do go into hiding. We do go into hibernation to protect ourselves during this very vulnerable time. And if you think about what's happened with social media, we've almost gone into the exact opposite of that. Where now pregnancy is this time to put yourself to the forefront. It's a time to show off more. We have these check-ins of like, here's I'm pregnant, here's how many months, here's my stretch marks, here's their first kick. And now we have these even videos of the baby in the womb. And so where it used to be a very private time, it's now a time of almost like increased content and increased exposure. And we can only imagine how that would be a billionfold for her. 1, because she's young. 2, she is unmarried. 3, it's with a rapper. And 4, and most importantly, she's a Kardashian, and that's just it. If you're a paparazzi, you probably, that's like your dream person to have a photo of. So you can imagine the extent of pressure and publicity that she would have to go through if she was outwardly pregnant during this time, and the harassment that she would have to go through if she was outwardly pregnant at this time. And these incubation months, when we are growing a life inside of us, we do naturally pass on feelings. We do naturally pass on fears, anxieties, depressions that we're going through. And that's not because of some kind of hoaxy thing. That's just how, hold on, I'm explaining this all kinds of crazy. Let me just read something that I thought was very fascinating and poignant. Recent studies have found that trauma can be passed down between generations. Chemical tags acting like Post-its can latch onto our DNA, switching genes off and on depending on our environment. So this research team did this study on people who were pregnant during the 9/11 attacks and found that the babies born were more colicky and more apt to become anxiously attached. So if you're going through this time, for example, where you're under attack constantly, your body is being scrutinized, maybe you have to do extreme things to look a certain way because you don't want to blow up and be in front of the paparazzi and be caught with unflattering photos. On top of that, people want the story and the scoop from you. You become extra prone to being in fight or flight mode because you are in protective mother mode. So then your anxiety probably skyrockets, your adrenals are probably skyrocketing, your adrenals are skyrocketing. I can imagine how stressful of a time that would be for a young celebrity like her to be pregnant and the ramifications that would have on what information she passes down to her baby. So all that to say, how incredibly responsible and beautiful in a way of her to do it. And all of us had the speculations of the reason why she was guarding this pregnancy that we weren't confirmed about was all for publicity, was for the exact opposite reason, that it was to get the biggest reaction from people, when in actuality, she wanted no reaction at all. And it made me really think about how much of that should we really take into practice? And this is a question for you all. When we think about the extremes we've gone through when it comes to our attitude towards pregnancy, we even used to have the rule of like, don't show your pregnancy until 3 months in. Now you have people showing their tests as soon as they get a positive result. We're showing and sharing, and we're making ourselves accountable, and we're making our baby accountable so much younger. And while it's beautiful because we can celebrate pregnancies being a normal thing and we shouldn't be in hiding about it, and maternity photo shoots were not that common, 10, 20 years ago, and now they're the norm for everybody. And there is something wonderful about that. Is there also something that is biologically harmful about it? Are we taking a time that we should be in rest and incubation and making ourselves into PR, mongerers to get the most attention during this time? Or we're creating a sense of accountability that otherwise shouldn't be there, because your only accountability should be to the life growing inside of you. So that's kind of what was like swirling in my head as I listened to this entire story. It's not the most clear, thought out argument, so please excuse me if I'm using words like skyrocket. If that's actually a fine word if I said that, I can't remember. But nonetheless, I'm curious to know what you guys think. When not that the news broke, don't come to me with all the minutia of the like, I think the baby's got a tail, or whatever conspiracy that you have. I just want to know, from a human to human standpoint, are you fascinated by the fact that she took this time to really step out of the limelight so that she could give her baby the most stress-free, nurturing environment to spend those very, very, very crucial 10 months in? Or do you think it was all a ploy to get even more attention, which it probably has today, which is why I'm making a video about it? And on top of that, most important question, do you think there's something we can learn from Kylie Jenner? She has done pregnancy in a way that a lot of people who work at Whole Foods and Chipotle don't, privately. So I want to know what you think. In the comment section below, let me know. And welcome back. That's to myself, welcome back to you. Welcome you back to me. I'm rusty. I'm sorry.
I get it, girl. Oh yeah, I get it, girl. Yeah, I get it, girl. And if you don't know, get it, girl.